ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, king of the game. I believe in you, that's what he'll say. Nice and kind, leading cobalt ice. He's a blue, cute, and deadly little guy. Sing through the fog, old gods he's slayed. Go7, 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 Go7. Go7, 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 Go7.
Hello, hello. There we are. Put our little bow tie on. I know the igloos are melting. Yes, the extreme heat is, it's a little extreme. Some people lost power. Fortunately, I still got my power. All is well. Ish. It's just hot. Looks like... Hello. Looks like when I'm in the multi-stream chat, it does miss some of these YouTube comments, huh? I think? Maybe not. Just didn't pick up on Savage the Beasts and Shadows. Maybe they were just too fast. It's freezing temperatures over there. Coldest it's been in 13 years. My gosh. The complete opposite. That's what you get for living in the southern hemisphere, I believe. Give me some of that cold. Alright. It's a new month, so I should be able to just give out memberships, right? Yeah. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. You have to allow gifts to get them, I see. It's a $1 value, all yours. It's Christmas. Fluffy got it. Fluffy, how many times have you gotten it? Membership required. You should have emotes. I think I can add more emotes when you do that. But let's see here. Diggs 29 versus BANGOBONGO. I do have some more replays to add to this queue, but I've been slowly working through it. It's over 300 degrees in Crabland. My gosh. In Kelvin. In Kelvin. Oh, never mind. I'm of course talking in Fahrenheit, the only reasonable temperature scale when talking about the weather. You'll always remember the mass destruction of penguin copters on this map. There was some mass destruction of penguin copters, it's true. But the penguin bomber in the end sealed the deal. We've got Andy versus Kindle on this map. It's definitely not the best map for Andy, but it's not like it's awful. Andy, it's like a copter heavy map. And Andy has pretty nice copters. Because if you ever get into a copter versus copter fight, they do have to like two-shot your copters. They can't just hit your copter down to 2 and be happy, because you'll heal it all the way back up to 7. Since you don't want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, you'll just say it's getting close to the water freezing point. That's pretty impressive. The water freezing point in Fahrenheit, if the weather... No, it's 32, yeah. So whenever the weather gets into like 40s to 30s, it's real cold. For some reason, I was thinking it was negative 32. I'm like, no. Not that cold. You'd go Rachel if you don't want the Kindle mirror. I mean, it makes sense to go Rachel. Yeah, it's a baseline map. Exactly. Andy doesn't know what an airport is, but he has some of the best air units because he can repair them without using airports. What are my thoughts on Andy versus Olaf in Tier 2 Fog? More than once you've considered picking Andy on Olaf dominant maps. You could do it, but you'll need to keep in mind that snow is like way worse. Way worse than rain. So you'll be really sad. Because the rain's like annoying, but it doesn't completely shut down your army and your extra. But the snow really can do that to you. So even though you can heal off the global damage, you gotta keep in mind that the snow is gonna hit harder than the rain does when you're fighting Drake. We'll hop into it here. Snow is super rude to air units. Snow even counters Sturm, it's true. And that means that Lash's normal power can't ignore the snow either, but it can't ignore the rain. So, we've got Andy in the bottom left versus Kindle in the top right. Kindle, I would say, is definitely favored on this map. Because even though I was saying that Andy has really... Even though Andy has really good air, being able to heal all the copters and the copter fights and everything, for a map this small, the day-to-day is going to matter a lot. And Andy has no day-to-day, while Kindle has a really strong day-to-day, getting the extra firepower when attacking off of urban terrain. And well, urban terrain's what you're fighting on, or fighting over to get income. So it's very good for Kindle. And because the map is so small, it's going to mean that the day-to-days are going to have a longer period of time where they're going to be fighting, or like be the only thing mattering, because the powers will take a longer time to come online due to having less income to have. Because less income means you have less expensive vehicles. If you have less expensive vehicles, or just vehicles in general, you're going to get less charge for every fight. because less money is in the fight. So the day-to-day can matter a lot on these smaller maps. If Andy manages to make it to the super without losing too much, then you would expect to see a huge turning point then. Looks like Andy's going to go tank first, and Kindle's going to actually go copter first. I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure on the copter first choice, just because it does line itself up nicely for Andy to respond with anti-air infantry, and then the tank is kind of uncontested as it moves out into the center. The copter can move, so if these infantry start moving out to try and capture these center properties, the tank's ready to counter them. The copter does counter the tank, but because the anti-air is built in time, it will be like tank's here, copter can move out to threaten, and then tank goes in and stands somewhere annoying or hits something, and then the anti-air moves up and covers the tank against the copter. But the opposing tank that you'd have to build is going to be too late to really cover like the anti-air does, because the copter is already in the middle by the time you build the tank. So it's just going to be a turn out from letting the copter go in, get a free hit, which should mean that the tank should get a free hit somewhere, or interrupt something, or just dissuade something. Now, copters do have a lot more freedom of movement here, so it can be tricky to make sure that the anti-air is actually covering everything, but it looks like it is. And the tank isn't going to get too antsy. It's going to stick really close to the anti-air. It's still in range to interrupt this capture, so it's totally fine. The only thing you really have to do here is to make it so if the infantry interrupts this capture, you can punish it. Ooh. So the tank will be able to show up in time to help defend this capture. It's just not showing up in time to let the copter do anything. So you could, for instance, this could have been a reversed order where you go tank first and then copter, but then you get one less infantry. I don't know. It's definitely awkward to build a copter from here, fly it through the middle, and show up over here when you could just build a copter here and get here faster. But it is what it is. There was definitely the choice of sending the copter straight forward and trying to mess with these captures on the top left, which might have been the better choice, and then retreat towards the infantry wall and use your flying movement to go over mountains and stuff. As is, this is a little weird for Kindle because neither of these vehicles actually strike from on top of this property. So this is basically a free interrupt for Andy. Even just gets to use the anti-air here. I don't think I would use the anti-air here, just because we do have this copter situated down here. So having the anti-air kind of follow a bit to help cover everything would seem like the correct course of action for me. But Andy decides doesn't really want to interact with that. Goes down here instead. This tank attack on this infantry is fine. It's not really needed. So instead, the tank plus infantry could have gone for this hit, and then the anti-air could be sitting right here. So it would be really annoying, and be able to cover both of these infantry with the copter reinforcements. Oops, wrong button. This does take a little bit of repair cost out of Kindle, but I don't think going from 13k to 12k really matters that much. I guess that stops you from going artillery tank. Hey, so Andy got the 2-hit KO on the infantry here, which is about a 30% chance. Kindle fails it over here. Such is the life. Okay, that's a very aggressive tank. It is out of range of this copter, and it's covered by another tank, so I don't think Andy's going to go in for an attack on it. You'd have to go... Maybe... I guess you probably still do, right? I take it back. Andy's definitely going to go on the offensive there. Because there's just one. Because Andy's got 2 tanks here. There's only 1 tank covering. These 2 copters don't really cover. So you can have a tank strike from the city, tank strike from either the forest or the plains, maybe. Probably you do it from the plains so that your opponent's tank can't make it over here and strike from the city. In which case you can go like strike here, anti-air strikes here, infantry hits this infantry, finishes it off. And you have tank anti-air here, stopping the tank from making it to the city. The tank can hit your anti-air. Maybe that's too bad. You'd have your own copter to deal with the other copter, so I think it'd be okay. Doesn't decide to go for that though. He's gonna go for the tank hits. This is where it's gonna get awkward though, because a blocker didn't stick around over here. So where does this tank attack from? It's going to attack from these woods. That's a little dangerous against Kindle, of course, because now the Kindle tank can strike from the city, but it won't kill this tank. It is in the woods after all. And there is only 1 follow-up hit from this copter, so I think it's fine. I think I prefer what I was saying before, with the tank hit from here, anti-air strike from here, infantry finishes off this infantry. And just rely on copters to fight the copters down here. Being Andy and everything. They're just going to stand off of this. A little awkward, but there's the strike from the city. It does do a lot of damage. Andy is kind of starting to build up the charge, though. The day-to-day really hasn't gotten too much done for Kindle. Andy's kind of had the better engagements. The copters have been surprisingly docile. And I don't expect that to change too much. We might, as Andy here even, I think you do send this tank back to heal up to 5. And I'd probably send the copter in and go copter tank to kill tank, and then have the anti-air copter to cover against these 2 copters. If one goes onto the city and strikes at your copter to kill it, that's fine. Your anti-air can still get him. And it will build up. That looks like what we're doing. And this will build up a lot of charge while keeping units ready to be repaired. Like so. So this is looking very nice for Andy. The city does not get captured. Currently the income is even. Kindle goes for the urban blight. It does hit this poor repairing tank. Ooh, kills that tank off. Okay, and then just gonna hit this copter. You can see that's where things get kind of iffy for Kindle. So kills a tank. But then this copter gets to live in the copter wars, and it also gives quite a bit of charge for Andy. Killing the tank is really nice, though. Andy also gets +1 movement when he uses the super, so like this copter on by actually does interact with these copters. And we have the double anti-air here because I think that's definitely the right choice, because it's very soon going to be Andy has an Air Force and Kindle has nothing, except for a single tank. We'll see how does Andy even make it to this amount of charge. I'm seeing like you have a copter first strike here, you probably get knocked down to 5, and it gives you a lot of charge. Anti-air can hit a copter, probably from the city. Ooh, BANGOBongo's like, no, though. Uses the normal power. Ugh, I do not like that normal power. It does heal off some of the damage and it like secures that capture. But it's gonna be way less impactful than the super would have been. We still end up winning the copter fight. Anti-air +2 copters. Healing up is still pretty nice. But the super, I think, might have been completely game ending. Maybe it was quite a little too expensive to go for. That tank does get killed off, which is going to be kind of annoying for Andy because here comes the 2 anti-airs. And while you can kill off this tank, you'll have to mainly kill it off with copters, which are exactly what don't want to be fighting into double anti-air. Let's see what the choice is. The tank does cover from this tile, so maybe you do send the copter in for a smack. Trying to go like smack, smack. Looks like we're just going to leave the tank alone. Start pushing for this capture. This copter didn't even move, which is pretty interesting. That, yeah, that is a pretty devastating hit. Definitely gotta be careful about sticking around those cities. I'm surprised that this infantry went for this hit, because now the anti-air doesn't finish it off. Oh, yep. Wow, that's a really weird choice. Both the anti-airs are sticking together, I guess, but it like moved into tank range. If this anti-air gets away, then things are going to be a lot better. We are going to go tank plus copter to kill anti-air. Try and pester this tank a bit. I'm not sure about this attack just because they were doubled up on the anti-airs. So as is, anti-air kills copter, copter hits tank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess you can build a copter here and then be like, I'll probably get my super next turn, and that actually covers the tank against the opposing copter. That might be the play. No, the copter got built over here. Well, I think copter down here does actually cover. We'd also have this, and then the super also lets this tank hit this anti-air, get a nice swing turn. Okay, so this anti-air is going to get away, which is nice. Ready to be healed. I think that's a fine urban blight. It's not amazing, because there weren't too many strikes from cities that ended up benefiting from it. But it does kind of put some pressure off on these captures, which when you're dealing with such low income amounts is definitely impactful. It'd be that bad if Andy got his plus 30%. Is it? I thought Andy is fine, right? Oh, he reaches 30% with a comm tower, yeah, because he gets an extra 10% from his super. Instead of 20%, right? Because in dual strike, they don't include the base. Or is it Advanced Wars 2 or Dual Strike that's missing the offensive component of getting powers? Yeah, he didn't get buffed, right? I don't remember. I know there was a huge controversy about it in the Discord, but I think it was determined that Andy is getting as strong as he should be. Yeah, Advanced Wars 2 powers gave plus 10% defense with no firepower. Then he's getting a total of plus 20%. With having a power active and then the plus 10% that the super gives. Is it plus 30% in dual strike? Another 10%? I don't think it's needed. I think the plus 20% is exactly what you want anyway. Okay, my goodness. So Kindle is super all-inning the top here. Slash the middle, trying to get this capture finally. We do have an anti-air strike here. I do like cleaning this stuff up. I imagine bringing a copter over here will just kind of end things. I don't know. Whoa, don't do this as Andy. Don't sacrifice your low health units. Yeah, it really helps Adder. Oh no. So this is really good news for Kindle. Because killing like a 3 health anti-air off is huge. It's basically killing an 8 health anti-air. Except it's a lot easier to kill. Like this copter just kind of comes down and kills an anti-air that next turn can one-shot it. Up like so. So very good on Kindle for finishing off all those Andy units. Going all in on the top seems to have worked out. There aren't too many infantry left for Kindle. So Andy has that going for him. Definitely use the super here. Heal up the units, gets this copter into the fight. Although, unfortunately, this copter and this tank are fighting for the same terrain spot. So this tank gets away without being attacked. Very good news for Kindle. Goes for the Urban Blight immediately. It will help this copter go for a swing. Ooh, and Andy wasn't able to stand on the cities. Oh no. Definitely when you fight Kindle, try and stand on the cities when you've got your vehicles next to them. Otherwise, this kind of thing happens and Kindle will get some really nice exchanges. Very well done. That's the kind of Urban Blight you love to see. Now Andy is almost dead. Has to sacrifice infantry. Try and delay captures. Tank runs back onto the HQ. I don't know why it's going onto the HQ. I think Andy's about to die here. Oof. Now this capture needs to be completely wiped out in order to stop it. Andy cannot do currently, so that's just a gonzo capture. You get some nice infantry kills over here, but I think losing the city is probably going to end up snowballing the game into Kindle's favor by a lot. Kindle's actually Andy's ending the turn down 3 units, which is awful when you should be ending up at least 1 unit if the game was even. And even more so than that if you're Andy, hopefully. You can keep your injured units alive to be healed up. Kindle gets this property. Now it's 14k to 12k. Andy can't even afford to produce 2 tanks a turn. And that is GG. Is it laggy? No. It doesn't say it's laggy. GG, Urban Blight. Chapter. So well done. Andy did a great job actually winning in the early game against Kindle, which is tough to do with that day-to-day. You guys gotta be really careful to not lose your injured units, and I would say that prioritizing your super is very important for Andy. And keep in mind that you can go for some attacks to generate power on your turn. Like copter hits this copter, anti-air hits copter. I don't know if that's quite enough, because you do need 2 full bars. And you get 1 bar from losing a copter. So killing 2 opposing copters would give you 1 bar. It might not be enough. That's what Andy... Maybe Andy had to like back off there. But using the normal power is going to really hurt because it will, of course, use up some of your charge and make your next super cost even more. Lag here. Okay. I unfortunately cannot help you, Mr. Greensuit. Infentree. Kindle versus quick slow, or Infentree versus quick slow. Kindle versus Kindle on Scavenger. This is a smacky cup. Kindle mirror. My least favorite map. Well, I don't know if it's my least favorite map. I've got a really poor win-loss ratio on this map. The stream is fine at max res. Oh, weird. It says the game I'm playing is Penguin Land. I don't know why it comes up with all these different games. For a while there was My Little Pony Friendship is Magic game or something. My least favorite might be to Athos. No, my least favorite is probably the Witch Trial one. My Smacky Cup's going all right, I think. It's on its way. We'll see how this game goes, though. Got Kindle versus Kindle on Scavenger. We'll see how they decide to play this out. Okay. Looks like we're going to go for the neutral base first, as one would imagine. Infantry decided that they wanted to be... Because, let's go back here. All the way back to the start. So, as player 1 here, you don't have the pre-deployed infantry, so you get to choose which base you want to be ahead on. Whichever one you want to be ahead on, you send the other one's infantry to go for the starting base. So you can either be ahead going up like this, or you can be ahead going this way versus player 2. Whichever. I would probably suggest being ahead on this base, just because getting these properties is much more difficult than getting any of these properties. And I don't think you necessarily have to be ahead on this base in order to have a successful attack going this way. So I think I would suggest having this infantry go for this base and then just send this guy straight up. But to try and beat the recon timings. But that's not what infantry decides here. So since this base is the one sending the infantry down to this neutral base, that'll make this one the one that's faster in the matchup, while this will be slower. So now as you can see, any cool new submissions for the contest? There's been some submissions. I don't know if I'll be sharing. Maybe we'll share some of the submitted maps. We get a Kindle battleship. Kindle battleships are pretty spicy. So is going for the quick recon. So if a recon's coming this fast, then I don't think it really matters if you are faster over here. It would mean like this is, or would be getting finished with the capturing this turn. We'll see if this fast recon, I think it might be a turn too fast in order to find the target. We'll see if it has to dawdle around for a turn. Okay, it's doing its own dawdling. So this recon has nothing to fear because it's way too fast for there to be a tank already out on the map. This is tank first, and it just got built, so this recon can go wherever it wants to go, and that usually means it wants to move its max movement. In this case, it's going to go chill on a comm tower, which is very cautious. It might be trying to check for another recon. Why would some players weight all their units, especially stationary black boats? It's called not wanting the top right next unit button to show something. Because they've probably gone through games where they've accidentally not built something from a base. Now they constantly check that to make sure they get everything done. Speaking from experience. Okay, so we're going tank recon from infantry, going down the bottom. This is the faster base, so this is probably just used with the intention of going full on aggression, attacking this city. Is fine. Quick Slow's recon does spot an infantry. If this infantry goes for this capture, then we'll actually get a nice interrupt. It's a little bit dangerous of an interrupt because it's not uncommon for someone to try and defend these initial captures, and if a tank went up this way, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it would be ready to kind of strike back at any recon attack. Oh, never mind. I'm not quite sure what infantry's plan is here. Very cautious with these starting units. You don't need to be very cautious with your first vehicles because your opponent isn't ready to be established on the map yet. So it's your time to be very established with these guys and just kind of move their full movement wherever you want them to go. Ooh. Well, the tank could have moved to be like right here, and then they could actually cover this perfectly. But as is, the tank does cover if the recon goes here. We'll see how does Quick Slow decide to attack with this recon, or if it does decide to attack. Starts the comm tower capture. Recon decides not to attack. Not covered by a tank. I'm not quite sure why this recon was built. It should probably have just been an infantry if all of it's going to do is just kind of move around. Even if it spots something, it's not going to attack it. There's no real reason to have this vision then. It's just going to be seeing a lot of nothing that you're going to do anything about. Might as well just have a slightly faster capture phase with an infantry and then bring the recon later. Kind of similar to what's going on here with infantry. Like this tank is a tile further than if it was built last turn. So you might as well just build an earlier infantry and not have gone with the early tank. Here we're going to have the recon spot. This tank could attack, although I don't think any player is going to go for this attack against Kindle. And indeed it doesn't. Because what happens, right? You go up, you smack this down to like 4 or something, and then you're sitting on shoals next to a city. The opposing Kindle could definitely have a tank in time to strike at you, so you wouldn't go for that attack. Just say, it's our safe recon. I can't do anything about it. Not unless you had some good intel on where the opposing units are. Like if infantry had been able to see that 2 recons came out early, then that would have meant that there couldn't be a tank in time, and then you just go for the attack. Okay, Quick Slow coming on down here. This recon's just kind of going back and forth. Whoa. Well, I don't know why infantry thinks that this would be a safe, like a dangerous recon to strike, but this is a safe one. Very aggressive to go for these captures. Would not recommend it, as it is past, or it's at least on. It's a little bit past the dividing line of the map, and they're definitely not supposed to be your captures, so it's a lot easier to deny them until you have like artillery backup rather than try and capture them. As is, things might get a little bit spicy here. There isn't actually enough down here for Quick Slow to kind of do everything they'd like to do. Attacks from the road. Ooh, recon backs up. Okay, this does mean that infantry is going to get this property. I think this infantry, or this recon, should probably have struck from the plains. I think you live at 3 health. Probably at 1. But you get to interrupt this capture. It might be okay, though. The idea just being like, they might get this capture, but there's no way they're able to hold it. But they can kind of hold this capture, if that was the thinking. That they can hold this capture if they have artillery. Like, artillery down here, pretty safe with enough backup. But getting to fight off of this city is really nice for Quick Slow. There's also the potential of not finishing this capture. That's also something you could do. You would just interrupt this capture to go for the strike down here, and then have one of these follow-up infantry go for this capture later. Okay. Go through a strike on the infantry. Copters moving out. We don't have any anti-air coming down for Quick Slow. It's just going to be a copter. We did have this nice little recon attack. I like it. In response to this tank diving in deep. You got to expect that the opponent's probably trying to keep up the attack over here. So this is probably a free attack. And even if it wasn't quite free, a single tank attack from here wouldn't finish off the recon most likely. There might be a chance depending on the rolls. Your first priority should be breaking the middle seam. It can be good to break the middle seam. It's definitely not... I mean, you're going to need to break it when you're entering into the mid-game. Well, infantry is going for it right now. Although probably having the artillery move out over here and like sit on the city so you get the 2 shots. You can get the 2 shots with a tank attack, though. It's not like it's that much better. You definitely need to fit the pipe seam break so into your game plan. Recon can of course see the copter because it's in the woods, and copters fly above the woods. So like if infantry, or I guess if Quick Slow was going for the pipe seam break at the time the infantry attacked, then it would be really tough for Quick Slow to have been able to actually defend. It's always a timing thing with those pipe seams. You get a nice advantage by breaking it because you have faster reinforcements, but you gotta choose your moment. Infantry getting this city, pretty nice. I'm surprised that Quick Slow didn't kill this guy off, but that's okay. This copter is known about, so nothing's gonna attack this, because the copter would just fly over and strike from it. You have the anti-air on its way. And Quick Slow has a nice counter aggression over here anyway. It's looking like it's gonna work out really well. Ooh, the tank got the kill on the recon. Must have been some unfortunate rolls on that guy. Or did they go for 2 interrupts? No, it only hit 1 infantry. Yeah, if you break it quickly, your opponent if they went for like early recons. So maybe that's why Quick Slow went for the double recon. Because if you go for an early recon opener and then you see in the fog that they're attacking the pipe seams, then you go just ham on all of the harassment. That might have been the idea of going for the early recons then, to check for the pipe seam breaks. But then the pipe seam breaks didn't happen, and there wasn't really a backup to the recon opener. Things kind of got a little dawdly. I would suggest breaking it. I would suggest breaking the pipe seam, but I wouldn't suggest rushing breaking the pipe seam. It's not going to matter too much until you're entering into the new game anyway. Ooh, infantry goes with a base skip here. Also, didn't have a tank hit this. That's going to be a little awkward. I would have had... I think this tank should have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 smack. That way when the... Maybe it's fine to have the copter hit here. That might be the idea. Either way, it goes a little bit negative in that movement, but it saves this tank a ton. Ooh. Mixo starts trying to capture these properties again. Has to rebuild the recon because both of them did get sniped pretty effectively. Oh, wow. A little risky to have the copter over here. I thought it would come down here because the attacking was mostly happening down here. But I guess there was the counter aggression that went up this way, so Pixel's probably thinking the attack down here is pretty much over. Get a strike from the city. Yeah, the copter and a tank is covering that. Copter should probably have attacked from here. Depends on where it wants to go. Whoa, a full-on retreat. Well, if you go for full-on retreats like that, I would just not send this tank in. Infantry probably is well aware that these units are super dead, or they could be super dead. I was just willing to take the trade to delay the city capture a little bit longer. A little gutsy to go in with that tank. It's going to be a tank for a recon, essentially. That's not the end of the world. Yeah, these units are just going to get cleaned up. Hopefully these infantry can run away. Both players kind of front shifted away from each other. Quixo's going to come out a little bit negative in this fight, just because infantry has a little bit better targets to go after than 7 health tank was. Back on up. Just letting this go, maybe? Thinking about it currently. Recon decides to go up here. Are we not going to finish off these guys? Infantry gets to live at 3. Wow. I think right here... I mean, when you see copter, tank down here, and a tank over here, I think you just go ham and you just kind of kill everything up here that you can. You just send all the vehicles in. Because there's... Even if Quixo like attacks into you with whatever's up here, you're gonna have way more than them. Right now, Quixo's doing just fine when it comes to income, a little bit behind in unit count. Now breaking the pipe seam, decides to break this one. That's a weird choice. It's kind of the worst of the two. The only advantage it has is for like defending this area over like moving down this way or moving down like this. So it's a little weird to break that pipe seam in comparison to this one. Here comes the medium tank, not bad. Well, because pipes, the pipe health and attacks on pipes are always revealed in Fog of War, if as soon as you hit a pipe, your opponent should know about it, and they can kind of go ham. You won't necessarily like be in a bad position for rushing out the pipe, pipe break, but you're opening yourself up to getting an early harassment. Ooh. Infantry trying to front shift into this. Those were the Neo tank by. Copter on the front lines, not a huge fan of that. It's a lot better if the artillery is covering the copter, but in this case it's not, it's just covering the tank. An urban blight, interesting. We'll see how it gets used here. I just realized the infantry also went for an urban blight. I think infantry's urban blight was fine-ish. I guess it does delay 2 captures. There weren't really that many attacks off of cities though, which is not ideal. And this is why you really want the artillery covering the copter, because artillery absolutely destroy anti-air. But this is still kind of fine, because we've got, well, some of these guys don't have the best targets, but we still have, like, anti-air can hit the copter, tanks can hit the anti-air, and there's another backup copter here. It's still looking fine for infantry in this fight. The Neo tank is going to be quite the introduction. I'm not super sold on this low health tank attack on the anti-air. I would much rather if the anti-air was completely dead. And we've got plenty of tanks back here to make that happen. Yeah, so that was a little weird. This might as well be a healthy tank. You can send an urban blight just hit, and I think it was hit with not. Well, I guess there was a decent amount of charge still in the bank, so I guess you don't really want to go back on the properties to heal right now. You think either pipe is fine, but this pipe gets you forward way faster than this one does. This one requires more backtracking with unit movement. Right? They both reach down here at the same speed. So the only thing that really matters is whether or not they're both going this way. And this one's definitely better going this way. I mean, it's only if it's going up this way it's better, I guess. Otherwise, it's pretty much even, as this does have to go around the forest too. So it's like a little bit lower that this one's not going backwards on movement, but I don't see the advantage to it. I guess it's slightly better. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. No, I was trying to see if it could be faster for rocket, but the rocket always just goes this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it goes down here. For instance, if you want to use a medium tank to break it. That's true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The medium tank breaks it. Ideally, what happens is you break this one and then send the medium tank through. Join the tanks together. Quick slow. Big ol' retreat from here. Quick slow is up by 3k, which is mighty nice. Yeah, right now Quickslow's answer to the Neo tank is medium tank attacking from a city, artillery fire, or copters attacking from cities. You'll have some really nice extra fire. Wow, that's Urban Blight in the dark. Does get a hit from a city onto a tank. Well, the 1 health infantry got the kill. Alright, we do get at least 2 attacks from cities there. That's not too bad. And the counter Urban Blight does hit the vehicles on the cities, and then there's also vehicles set to be killed from the cities. Let's see if Quickslow wants to engage here. It's still kind of on infantry side of the map. Ooh, that is so dangerous. It's kind of the thing with Kindle where it's like you want to use your heavy vehicles to clear the cities, but then you have your heavy vehicles next to the cities. The artillery does cover, but that's a super dead medium tank. Quickslow could actually just completely die here. Fortunately, infantry does not have any charge, so we're not going to get like an Urban Blight blowout. That's right. Looks like Fred's been killed off, but the black boat's still hanging on. I don't know what was up with that. Just double unit sack to then use the full health vehicle anyway. I'd like don't recommend that. Whoa, the medium tank lives at 1. Oh my gosh. This is where the unit sack should happen. Send the 1 health infantry in, hit here. Maybe that's enough damage to clear this. Because this is huge that this survives. Because now the wall is fine. And +10/+10 stats. And as long as the wall is fine, the artillery is okay. And these other tanks like don't even have a target. Always make sure that you can break, like, as long as this infantry dies or this medium tank dies, then the wall is broken and you can kind of eat up everything. I don't know if the 4 health infantry, it might be fine to send the 4 health infantry in here as well. But definitely don't send your, like, you don't need the sacrifice to kill a 2 health anti-air. If this dies on retaliation, which it might because Quickslow has the extra stats from the power, then definitely do that. I think maybe the 1 health infantry attacking in is probably enough too, though. Another thing that you can do here is just not attack from this tile. You can have the tank attack from here. It does occupy the side that would hit this tank, but I guess I don't know what the role was here. If Neotank was really likely to kill this medium tank or not. It would have been a great use for that 1 health tank though, to sack in there. But like, Quickslow, so lucky. Lucky might not be the right word, but so thankful that the wall did not break. Fires on the Neo tank. Takes out the anti-air. Hits the tank. Gets the city down here. Well, maybe. We'll see. I mean, it'll be Urban Blight and stuff. Suddenly it's infantry that's the one that's a sitting duck. Yeah, infantry was definitely not happy. You have the Urban Blight. And still go for these attacks. Clear this guy out of the way. We still have some tanks here. Hit the artillery, very nice. Kills off the recon, can kill off the infantry. Things are still looking in the fight here for infantry, for sure. Although this city looks like it's super gonna fall. This is what should have happened to Quickslow last turn. But Quickslow basically got a free turn of counterattacks there. 82 to 88%, that wasn't a roll, yeah. But that would definitely be the opportunity to like sacrifice stuff in to make sure that the medium tank goes down. Well, the anti-air hitting that infantry on the plains, it has a really low chance to kill it. Because Quickslow had the +10% defense. I think it has to like basically max roll. Urban Blight at the end of turn? Okay. These poor black boats sitting at their 1 HP. Quick Slow trying to just reorganize here. Try and get the Neo Tank in position to bop the other Neo Tank if this guy goes in. There's no way this guy goes in though. Just like you're hitting an infantry and you don't know what's coming back at you. Utilizing the black boat, I like it. This property is gonna flip. This property is gonna flip. This property might flip. In which case we'll just enter into an even income game here. ABC on its way. Starts going for this capture. So aggressive. Urban Blight. Okay. Quick Slow did get it. Just barely. That's annoying because it does delay both. Or actually all three of these captures. That's more than annoying. That's huge. It could mean that none of those captures go through, or maybe only like one does. Get some attacks in here. Copter gets smacked. Artillery moves forward. You think goes on the city. Quickslow's completely out of power, so I think that's fine. You save that city. Looking okay. Infantry's gonna have an Urban Blight on the following turn. Quickslow kind of heavily incentivized to try and break through here. That's not gonna break through. Does check. Checks there. But then, like, what do you send to hit these units? Is it nothing? This just actually holds. Okay. Breakthrough here. That won't stop the capture. It has to have the follow-up hit of the Neo Tank. Oh, you really don't like sending the Neo Tank down there, though. Okay, medium tank hits the artillery. That's alright. So all the captures will go through, but Quickslow able to get quite a few good hits in there. Infantry has a Neo Tank and 2 copters, though. But there's no good vision here. The route would probably be Neo Tank kills the anti-air, and then you send the copters in to try and kill off the medium tank. They can't even like kill off this 2 health tank very effectively, so you have to like infantry attack. Just probably take the properties. Be thankful you actually got the properties. Sends the recon forward, kills off an infantry. Does try and kill a 2 health tank off. Gets it. Oh, does spot the stuff, so we might still see Neo Tank hit anti-air. I guess it would be copter kills copter, copter hits medium tank. It's still really nasty because it means your opponent gets the first Neo Tank strike on you. And it's on the road. Talk about where you don't want to be. Okay, Neo Tank's gonna go after the medium tank instead, but that means that the copter should probably just not go in. They do decide to both go in, but they're not that well covered. A bit dicey for sure. Anti-air gets to kill off another copter. Okay, guys, you can chill. Melth is indeed a great player. But so is Mr. Greensuit. We don't need to have a debate back and forth. You're all good. You're not fighting. Alright, anti-air kills Copter. Quickslow getting a great attack in on the top. Very much leaving the bottom defend for itself. We'll see if Infantry picks up on that or not. This is a lot to see up here, so it might be worthwhile to just send the tank straight forward and see what you can find. We do get an Urban Blight. It's this poor infantry. Copter is alive at 6. Neo tank is sitting next to a property, but there isn't great attacks for it. Let's send the Copter to hit it down to 2. Neo tank goes backwards. Clear the way. The tanks can strike in here. I'm not super sold on the Neo tank attacking backwards because something has to deal with that artillery, otherwise you can't attack into the anti-air very well. That might have even been a high society turn instead. Oh yeah, I talked about fuel for fog before the Melt video came out, but that doesn't matter. Another Neo emerges. Melth made a really great video on the fuel intel. Sonya does not hide fuel here. I would recommend the Melth video on the fuel intel. Melth was definitely playing... He's just higher rated than the opponents. Like, his skill level hadn't caught up to his rating level yet, is what I would say for a lot of his games there. He definitely had very high expectations for my gameplay. Okay. That is off topic. Infantry gets this property. It looks like they're just going to flip back. Because it's a little dicey to try and win this fight and interrupt the property. Infantry recognizes it. Just lets it go, starts moving forward down here. We could enter into a HQ race situation. Quickslow moving forward very aggressively. Has most of the army here, so you might as well. The artillery isn't quite covering this capture, which is a little bit awkward. All right. So they are entering into an HQ race situation. Oh my gosh. Infantry just blundered the Neo tank out. Oh, the Neo tank away. Infantry notices that this is going to be an HQ race situation. Grabs the bomber to try and get up here. Probably want to buy a rocket to move up here. You could also get the battleship if you want. Wow, Quickslow uses the Urban Blight. I don't know why. That's the kind of thing you probably want to save till someone's starting to cap your HQ. Also not a rocket over here. Well, a rocket does cover from across the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can be very useful. You caught his eye for a potential rising star. That's awesome. Okay. Infantry lined up to go for the HQ. Stands on it. Also used an Urban Blight. I'm not sure why. Saving it to delay HQ captures. Oh, why is the bomber going over here? Well, Quickslow's doing has a better idea of what goes on in these HQ races. It's going to be your initial attacking force and then whatever you can muster for the defense. Everything gets cleared out over here, and now infantry's in range of the HQ. While Quickslow still has an army ready to help defend down here. Oh my gosh. Infantry being really patient with this HQ capture. I would say shockingly patient, as this HQ looks like it's going to start getting captured this turn. Quickslow's got a very nice defending force here. I think infantry is super dead. We'll have one Urban Blight to delay this capture. In comes the bomber. Attacks the pipe seam. Stealth. I mean, if the stealth was here a while ago, it could have gone up here and been really annoying on top of the HQ. As is, I'm pretty sure that Quickslow's kind of got this in the bag. Doesn't even bother to join cap. Clears the capture, kills off all the infantry. All that's left is a bomber. Also kind of weird to go for a stealth when your opponent's definitely going to try and build a fighter to deal with your bomber. That's okay. And that's GG. Quickslow gets the HQ cap. Well played. Need to recruit Minsk Connector. I don't know why the bomber went right. I guess it was thinking that, well, it did correctly predict that there'd be like a medium tank defending, but I thought it was going to go up to try and save the HQ. I think the opening from both players was a little bit dawdly, as they both kind of sat around for like a turn or so, which is fine. It happens. And then I think this was probably the most defining turn. Just like the sacrifice is not going to the right places. And so the wall holds. I think Quickslow should be dead here. But, GG. Or not dead, but like defeated. GG. Next we have Ayrwyn versus Orange Star Commander. Sasha versus Sasha. Tier 1 standard live league on Equator. Talk about one of my least favorite mirror matchups. I guess Orange Star Commander's name is really long, so it makes this intrude on the game. If I put it up here, it won't matter so much. Okay. Yes, you can indeed use Market Crash to deny your opponent's Market Crash. Yeah. It can mean that one player can be like Von Bolt, or they'll like kind of trade back and forth who's going to be Von Bolt for a few turns. The Sasha that goes for a War Bond loses the game hard. Sasha's win harder. What? Underwhelming power mirrors, but the problem is you just deny your opponent powers while you get stronger. Whoever gets the power first, or has the better power management, maybe. It's not quite like tier 4. You do get stats. How bad is using the Hawke normal power in a mirror? It's for the Hawke powers. It's all going to depend on how much stuff can you kill off. Like what is this power allowing you to do? If it allows you to do a wall break and wipe out your opponent's army, then you don't really care that they're going to have the better power on the next turn. So break the pipe seam fast, you say? You can delay it a little bit, but it's going to be something you'll want to do. The main thing that the pipe seam is doing right now is it's making it so you have a hard time defending these captures. Because the infantry, of course, just kind of walk over the river and they're fine. So like a recon can come up and harass these, and because the pipe seam's here, it takes a long time to cover this with vehicles other than the one base, which you can probably do a little bit for defending. You'll want to break this whenever you're trying to defend your HQ. Or before that, ideally. But the CO powers just flip-flop to each CO in this mirror match. Well, in this mirror match, what happens is a CO uses their normal power, and it wipes out the other person's power. So then only one person has a power active. And the other person has no charge. So if you've got really good charge management, you can kind of keep that going for several turns. Yeah, I don't think you need to break the pipe seam very quickly. It's going to be a defensive pipe seam. I mean, it does kind of feed into the middle, but it's mainly for defending your HQ. I think building a tank here is enough to defend against the recons. They do still gain charge on their turn, but it's hard to get 2 bars of charge on your turn. And the person that used the first power usually has some left over, because you use it at the very end of your turn for the most part. So you still have some banked up. So it's definitely not unusual to get 2 turns of denies. One of the players has specifically asked for Orange Star instead of Cobalt Ice. Who did that? Who did that? Where? Did I miss it? I don't see it in the chat. How did I miss that? Fine. Oh, by naming themselves Orange Star Commander. For that, they get to be guilty. I revoke my penguin status. We have a whole bunch of Freds here. Okay, so Ayrwyn is going for the artillery break on the pipe seam. Which is really fast. And it does mean that the overall map presence early on is going to be pretty low, because it'll take some time to break this pipe seam. And in the meantime, Orange Star Commander is going to go for some harassment. We're actually going double artillery here. It's a pretty quick comm tower. Tanks moving out. Anti-air to follow. Surprised we don't actually have a copter. The tank now, okay. Comm tower does get secured as there's nothing in range to interrupt it. Tank goes up, gets a smack. It's actually in range of an opposing tank, while only covered by an anti-air, so a little bit dicey. Interesting that, I mean, it is on the one base side, so hitting those infantry is fine. And in the long term, the fighting would be beneficial for the 2 base versus the 1 base, but I'm still not sold on letting the tank first strike through there. We do have the reinforcing tank here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Doesn't quite reach. I'm not sure why we hit this guy. We'll see how it plays out in the long term, I guess. 3 moving down here. Yeah, we have our anti-air hit. And the tank can hit. But like, it still goes negative in tank health and anti-air health. Ugh. Very dicey. I guess it secures this capture. Except it doesn't because the copter can just hit this. While, I guess it doesn't actually get covered by the mech. The mech had moved straight down. Then the mech could cover the copter. Oh, interesting. Starts capturing there, huh? Well, we'll see how Ayrwyn wants to handle this turn. I mean, you probably have infantry strike, mech strike, copter comes down. Probably tank hits anti-air to lower its health, and you can have the 2 infantry hit to try and kill this tank off. Tank reinforcing. Decides to use the tank to hit the tank. I don't think that's the right way. Also, probably don't hit with the mech first. Lets this capture through. Okay, well, mech goes down. And copter goes down. Alright, it lives at 1. It's not too bad. We have the market crash from Orange Star Commander. Range the charge. Go for the infantry swings. For Ayrwyn. Ayrwyn's looking a little bit dicey here. Kills off anti-air. I think does kind of get away. It might even go and try and kill this guy off. I'm not sure what its plan is. Orange Star Commander is now going for the pipe seam. That's a little awkward. Kind of abandons this attack after sending everything forward. But looks like they're going to get away with it with their lives for the most part. Or at least even-ish trades. Breaks through. Tank anti-air on its way. We have the mech get hit. I'm not quite sure why these mechs are on the front lines. No units here to cover against this copter right now. It's a little dicey. I think this did decide to go for that attack. It's a fine attack. It's not amazing because there's a trade of a 5 health tank for a 3 health tank. This thing's just going to go over here and kill it and move out into the middle. I guess you don't want to attack from there. It's still a decent kill. It decides to use the copter to do it. Okay. Bunch of infantry. And this copter down to hit this infantry, I assume. We have the market crash response from Ayrwyn. Mechs be backing up. Anti-air in the front lines. There's no tank over here to hit it right now. There's this one who's kind of itching to strike. The artillery are kind of covering each other despite how they're facing. So that's good. And Ayrwyn is way up in unit count at the end of the turn, but not that high up in unit value. So way up in infantry. We'll see how many kills Orange Star Commander can get here. Let's get a very annoying strike there. The pester a mech. It can kind of get trapped by low health units, which could be bad. We'll see how Ayrwyn's able to cover it. Okay, gonna go for this capture. It is guaranteed. End of the turn up in unit count, kind of low in unit value, but we can have. We'll see how this plays out, but I kind of like the low health units surrounding the copter, as long as you kill off this infantry, so that vehicles have to come to save the copter. And then you can kill off. Oh, that's not quite right. I mean, the mech would have to go there. Now the copter can escape. It's a little awkward. I guess with the double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, even with the double anti-air buys, this copter can get away. Diving in here with this tank attack, I think, is not going to end up being a great trade. Wow, the copter actually attacked there. That is inside this anti-air's range. Oh, okay, we get the block with this tank. That's pretty nice. That's a very nice block. Orange Star Commander. Let's get the beat up on these poor artillery. The copter, well, I don't know about this. Attack down here, though. Copter does go down. And the anti-air can strike from down here pretty safely, so you can still get an artillery shot and a mech strike. There's some mechs coming out in this space. We'll see how it plays out, I guess. It's nice that this tank is covering this one. So the anti-air striking this tank isn't quite free. They're going to beat up on this poor innocent mech. Start the comm tower capture. Attack there. Okay, mech hits the anti-air is nice. What? Don't sacrifice these units. They're very valuable blockers. 2 units for 2 infantry health? That's not amazing. Whoa. I would not send my tank in there. The artillery and backup tank range. You don't want to activate all those units. Okay, well, this is a little bit dicey because this is going to be a nasty choke point that Orange Star Commander should be able to exploit here. Oh, doesn't decide to do it, though. Maybe it wasn't safe enough. Just decides to go for all these other hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anti-air does threaten this copter, but I think it's pretty easy to block for it using a low health infantry. Or in this case, a low health anti-air. I guess this infantry is needed here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doesn't reach. Makes sense. We have our market crash. Starting this capture. Ayrwyn did manage to get a little bit of an income lead here. The tank does reach here. I'm not sure what this anti-air is thinking. Might have just missed it. Beam tank starts moving out into the middle. Little copter swarm gets some strikes. Anti-air is moving out. Only one of them can get hit by a tank, so that's probably okay, especially if they're recovered by a medium tank. Then we start going down. Market crash. We do hit the anti-air. I assume we're going to try and cover it with an artillery. Like so. Still pretty dangerous, though. Luckily, there is an anti-air back here, because Ayrwyn has quite the copter force coming in. Does decide to go for the tank hit. That tank hit that infantry. Okay, the artillery gets to... I don't know about this attack from Ayrwyn. I think you have to back up, because artillery hits medium tank, not great. Anti-air dies to tanks. Anti-air kills a copter, so I guess the medium tank gets hit. Anti-air dies, copter dies. You're left with 2 copters. You lose your artillery. Pretty dicey. You back up on the right. Your artillery shot all the way down to 4 health. Tries to kill it that way. Okay. I guess there wasn't that much of a difference. Different way to do it. I might have misjudged the unit different distances there. Okay, mech does get hit on the artillery, which is nice. Down goes a copter. Alright, things are looking much better for Orange Star Commander now. Unit count wise and everything. Okay, some nice annoying blocking. Trying to get this comm tower. But don't think this is quite going to be enough. Orange Star Commander is going for this capture. The medium tank is super dead. The tanks are super dead. I guess the copters are kind of fine though, so that's really good. Does this go through? I guess so. This anti-air can't reach because this infantry is in the way. This anti-air can't reach because this infantry is in the way. I don't think a 6 and a 4 health tank can kill it. There's a chance that the 5 health infantry can sack. It's a little bit dicey though. I think you have to knock it down to 8. So you have to like min roll. Orange Star Commander is going to lose the comm tower here. Which is very good for Ayrwyn. Fighting is still definitely ongoing. Lots of copters. We're gonna run into problems though, because Orange Star Commander has definitely started to develop that entire account. Medium tank tries to run. Mechs are getting chewed up. I don't know about sending all these copters in here. There's triple anti-air still active. They're all super dead. We have a Neo tank coming though, so that's nice. Some more anti-airs on the way as well. Really low on time for both players. Copters get kind of annihilated. We'll see how much this comm tower advantage ends up mattering. The Neo tank has some decent attacks and it doesn't really have much of an answer yet. That's very good news for Ayrwyn, and there's a pretty low infantry count, or at least healthy infantry count here for Orange Star Commander. It's a nice surround on this copter. Go for the market crash. Drain all the charge while still having a fair bit powered up, banked up. Light copter. Artillery? Just infantry, okay. Alright, I think the comm tower is definitely starting to matter a lot in these fights. We managed to free this copter. And it's a pretty good free too, because it hits a tank. Now the Neo tank does cover against the other Neo tank. Decide to sit on the city. Tank goes for tank strike. Infantry can finish off this, or can maybe block over here, whichever Ayrwyn prefers. Decides to block there. Interesting. Oh no, Ayrwyn runs out of time before buying? That is really bad. Neotank isn't touched. We go for like double Neotank this turn. Neotank gets strike from the city. Desperation. All in. Did some buys on the market crash, but has so much in the bank. Didn't go double Neotank, just went double tank. Bomber tank. Neotank picks on this poor anti-air. We're going to try and take out this Neotank with copters. It's never a great option. But it's kind of like a desperation option if it's on a city. So we'll get the fall back here. 2 copters will go down for this, but there's some backup tanks. And the Ayrwyn reinforcements aren't coming in this turn because of the skipped production cycle. So you can kind of almost do whatever you want and be fine. Because no reinforcements coming in means that you're getting hit by far less stuff. Oof. Fighter in response to the bomber. Lots of fighting over here. Ayrwyn's doing a really good job infantry wise. They are somehow still just even on income. Fighter clears the copter. Comm tower is looking like it's going down. Bomber has no great options because these anti-airs are holding hands. Oh no. Fighter and bomber. Such an very expensive specialist units here that can kind of get walled by anti-airs. Not what you would ideally have here. Do attack in, try and protect the bomber. I go for this capture. Oh, the wall barely holds. Your tank damages the anti-air and dies. What? Orange Star, oh no, Orange Star Commander runs out of time with the fighter in range of the anti-air? What? No. Ayrwyn sends their own fighter into range of the anti-air. Didn't have to do that. You could just take the hit. I guess you really didn't want this fighter tagging the bomber. Orange Star market crash. Breaks through to hit the artillery and the anti-air down there. Builds another fighter. Anti-air gets knocked down to, or the fighter gets knocked down to 2. Okay. Bomber goes for the hit on the anti-air, but goes into range of an anti-air in order to do it. And there's nothing to block for it. Just builds another bomber. Orange Star gets to hit the bomber. Now going to have a very strong fighter here. Clears up the attackers. Copters get attacked, but all of these attacking units are very vulnerable now. I guess the tank count's looking pretty nice. For some reason, Orange Star Commander goes double fighter. I mean, the fighters are good. I guess these low health copters can pester these tanks by quite a bit. This bomber gets hit. The bomber gets hit immediately after leaving the airport. Fighter, bomber. Tanks get kind of mauled here. I assume we're going to build some anti-airs here for Ayrwyn, who also skipped a lot of... Builds another bomber. Floats 12k. Why are we in... Oh, it's day 28. It's day 28. That's why. Okay. Daily because it's a live game. It's going to be a draw unless someone can flip a property. Right now, Orange Star Commander doesn't like have any hopes of capturing, so it's purely on the hopes of getting a draw here. So we have a join cap. Bomber can't reach anything. Okay, that's a very easy to interrupt join cap. So this will be a draw on this side. This is a harder to interrupt. Join cap, but not hard enough because we do have 2 full health infantry here, and they can't be tagged due to the huge wall of air defending them. Market crash, smack. Multiple sacks. Copter hits. Infantry interrupts. Pipe runner. Join cap. Day 30. Last day. But that's going to be a draw after Orange Star Commander's turn. GG. I feel like some of those turns definitely got a little panicky. Ayrwyn missing those buys was absolutely devastating. I think the bomber buys started a few turns too early. Piper killed a bomber finally. But that's okay. It's still a very good game, especially for live play. Both players basically out of time. All right. Noellers versus LordFrognaros. Adder versus Grimm on the other blockchain. Go. Calm tower, yeah. It's the time to block. Extreme heat. Oh, is my stream lagging? It's not saying it is for me, but it's possible that the heat's messing with stuff. We have Noellers versus LordFrognaros. Adder versus Grimm. Oh boy. This is a fancy map. Stream is fine for you? Okay. Adder versus Grimm is a very rough matchup for Grimm. Especially if you try and go the copter Grimm route. Because then the Adder copters have more range than your copters and things get real spicy. And by spicy, I mean bad. So we'll see how this goes. The extra movement to get the first strikes on Grimm can be really nasty. Some things that Grimm can do to try and offset that is like, instead of having, you typically see when you're like walling with infantry, that you're like walling and then the vehicles are like right here, right behind the wall. But what you can do as Grimm is you can have spaced walls. So your opponent's army is like over here, you wall with your infantry here, and then your army's like back here. So your army's goal is just to hit what hits your wall, not to like strike past it. So if your opponent first strikes, vehicles hit your wall, they break through, but they can't reach your vehicle, so you're fine. It can be dangerous though, because you don't want your wall to be too close to their wall, because if their wall gets the first strike on you, then you could run into trouble there. 0 defense tiles mean that 30% firepower is slightly better than minus 20%. I guess that's true on the shoals. It's not true on, like, the cities. LordFrognaros is pretty good. LordFrognaros is definitely good. But we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. There's some Grimm tactics that can be used. Everyone's going with their starting infantry. Ooh, Noellers going straight into the black boat and straight forward. LordFrognaros is copying exactly. Black boat's going to go back, pick up from this back base. Are we just... Oh, it's going to pick up from the front base, but it picks up faster. It's... 2, 3. You can almost just walk towards the HQ and cause like panic, interrupt caps and stuff, but not quite. I guess this guy could always cover. We'd have to bring in the black boat over. You wonder if we'll see recons. Okay, Noellers with the double drop off here. I don't think the drop off from this guy matters because moving here gets to the city either way. But it looks fancy, and that's what really matters. So far, we're just going with pretty typical infantry capture phase. Getting this one last kind of sucks for both players, because it's one that the other player can actually potentially interrupt. We do have a recon coming out, so tank recon from Noellers. It's probably just going to be tank out of LordFrognaros. That's exactly what we see. The Grimm recons do hit really hard, and in fact, against Sammy, the Grimm recons are kind of a menace because they can actually interrupt captures. Okay, well, LordFrognaros can go for this capture now. The tank is like fake threatening because it's gonna be double tank against single tank. I don't know about the tank being here, but I guess if you're having the anti-air backup, you really don't want them to get the tank first strike on you. If there was a tank backup, then you can move out to here and have better coverage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess it's not even better coverage, is it? You hit here. Either way, you can hit this forest tile. So we'll see how Noellers decides to go about this. Infantry does look like it's primed to interrupt. It doesn't, though. This is LordFrognaros' turn to potentially interrupt this capture, although I think Noellers has an even better defense in this case. But I don't think LordFrognaros is going to go for it. They're just going to be very peaceful and divide the map evenly. Essentially handshaking the capture phase. But very threatening handshakes. Ooh. Alright, Noellers goes for the tank first strike over here. Backed up by 2 more tanks. LordFrognaros is probably going to have to Whoa, I take it back. I was going to say LordFrognaros is probably going to have to just suck up the net -2 tank health, but decides not to. And, no way. I'm fighting this out. So we'll see how this plays out. This tank doesn't reach. That's why. There's only one tank strike available. Okay. Never mind. That makes this a lot better. If both tanks can reach, I don't think you do that. But if only one can reach, then you're totally fine. And it ends up just being a net gain for LordFrognaros. They both get the comm tower in a dicey spot. Start moving forward. The copter gets built. It's kind of in... I mean, if LordFrognaros... No, never mind. If this full health tank could reach, it could one-shot this guy, and then the anti-air could hit the copter. But I don't even know if you'd necessarily want to do that anyway. With the two tanks backing up. So we are entering into potentially a copter-heavy game with Grimm versus Adder. LordFrognaros going for this property. Very similar unit compositions here on both fronts. Looks like Noellers is not going to go for the double copter composition though. And right now the Grimm armies are really close to their front lines. Or vehicles are really close to their front lines. Which isn't necessarily ideal. But it's fine right now. Adder doesn't have the normal power. Adder could get it fairly easily by just kind of attacking into tanks, but breakthrough isn't quite yet. Ooh, the big stare down. LordFrognaros just wants to get this property to be up in income and denying this one. 21k does mean you can technically just go triple tank every turn. And both comm towers are kind of at risk as large armies build up on their shores. Not shores, but borders, I guess. Well, and shores. Okay. Lots of meandering. Or jostling. Jostling for power. Position. Okay. Capture going through. LordFrognaros is up in income right now because of this one city. This infantry did not get hit. So it does kind of get cleared for free-ish. Adder is real close to getting a power, but does also have to find a breakthrough for the power to be really good. You don't want to dive into Grimm lands and then get absolutely walloped. It looks like we're going to do a lot more walking around. Positioning. Potential attacks. A lot of these attacks look very fake to me. Like, there's some infantry that are staring at these cities. But I don't think there's enough infantry staring at the cities for it to be a real threat. It's like, there's not enough to both start to capture and, like, block while vehicles fight. There's a huge cluster of infantry way up here. And it doesn't look like Grimm is at all wanting to be on the offensive. They're actually about to reach the unit cap, which I do believe is 50. We're at 50 units here. The big stare down. Okay. This comm tower does look like it's a little bit available. Infantry die. Noellers chilling. Not very many units down here. Probably want to start trading out infantry, I guess. We're going to go in and strikes because LordFrognaros is at max unit count. So you got to get rid of them somehow, and you really don't want to delete them. Might as well get some value. It's another copter. Going with the huge copter army in the Grimm versus Adder matchup is so risky. Okay, both players have a power available. So we are going to see the Knuckle Duster. Ooh. 4 health infantry sacks into the tank to try and get the kill there, but it doesn't kill. I don't know what the roll was there. Okay, so it was like a little attack. Didn't even do anything down here. Adder goes for the super. Gonna kill off the copter. Okay. Huge dive in, lots of first strikes. There's gonna be no charge for Grimm out of this, but all these copters back here are gonna be fine. Okay, not all of them, I guess. One of them does get tagged. So a huge dive in from Noellers. Some of these captures might actually happen. We'll see how these Grimm copters end up fighting it out. The tanks definitely want to hit these anti-airs. It's questionable whether or not you want to go in quite so far, because like if you lose this attacking force, then it doesn't matter too much if you have two more cities, because the amount of value that you lose in the turn is just like so much higher. Than the amount of income you can get from those two cities. The attack down here looks like it was pretty clean though. And while all but one anti-air did get tagged over here, there's still a nice tank count for Adder. And the double city capture. I mean, that seems pretty good. But I wouldn't want to stick around here too long, because Grimm's going to have the super and still has a ton of copters. So yeah, definitely back up with at least most things. I think the anti-air just kind of killed itself off to these tanks. Like, this attack isn't great either. The artillery just shells you. Going for the Knuckle Duster. Kill off the anti-air. Kill off the infantry. A little bit lackluster of a normal power, but I guess it's needed. After trading for the injured anti-air, it's fine, I guess. I mean, the injured anti-air is not going to be injured for that much longer, so lowering the anti-air count, I guess it's fine. Going for another Adder super. Okay. Hits the anti-air, pretty nice. Kills off the artillery. It's the tank. Kills off this copter. Medium tank still surviving. It's on a forest. If it was on a city, then that would be pretty bad because it would heal up to 4. Do some decent damage back. A huge dive in. All of these copters do survive. There's only a few tanks though. I think most of the anti-airs for Noellers are going to be okay. Oh, the medium tank died at 2 health on the retaliation there. Do save the city down there. Build an anti-air. There's like no tanks for Adder down there. Okay. Olaf. Anti-airs. Another capture. Oh, it doesn't go through. Okay. Plenty of copters here. There's one anti-air that can reach. This guy has to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unless a tank can clear the way, which it can. So Grimm's still looking very nice with the unit counts. The Adder army dived in so far and is getting, or so deep, and is getting kind of wiped out for it. Over here, the copter attacks are looking nice though. There's one anti-air. It can't reach any of the copters. I think the attack over here, while it did end up killing the medium tank, it's going to end up being, or result in a pretty negative situation, as there's now just a single Adder infantry on this front. Oh, there's only one Grimm went up here. It did take this city, so Adder's up by just 1k. We do have a nice infantry move in from Grimm towards this comm tower though. The copters get away for the most part, so that's really good for Adder. Grimm is up by a lot of unit count though. And as long as they don't stall up to 50 units again, this unit count is going to matter. If they stall up to 50 units and then Adder can catch up, then suddenly that advantage will be gone. Down with Adder. I'm surprised we've seen so many Adder Sidewinders. And this is where things are going to start getting really spicy for Adder, because there's not that many infantry that can be made available to go for these interrupts, and if the vehicles start doing it, then Grimm will get some really good strikes, and Adder actually resigns up 1k. But this is what I was... It's like, how do you continue these interrupts when all you have is vehicles and there's still some infantry to go for these captures? Because you go forward and Grimm starts getting really good trades with your vehicles. But wow, I'm surprised Adder resigned there. I think there's like this situation, which is a kind of a headache for Adder, but the comm tower situation might be even worse. There's so many infantry available. The tank can smack in here pretty safely, but I think it could get surrounded and then potentially taken out in the future. I think maybe Noeller did one super too many, I would agree. Usually you want to go with your normal power unless the super's really good. The first attack kind of worked out. I think the second attack is what kind of did Adder in unit army-wise, but they're still definitely in this game, I think. Gee. A victory for Grimm. Yeah. Yeah, that tank gets surrounded down here. They can come back. This guy can come forward. Yeah. GG. Well played. That brings us to the end of the stream. I hope everyone enjoyed. Feel free to keep submitting maps to the map contest. It's still running until the 19th, so there's still plenty of time. The supers did catch up. That'd catch me off guard too, I think. Here's an apple for everyone's day. Hope you have a lovely one. Thanks for watching. We'll be back on Wednesday. How long have you been lurking? Oh no. You can submit as many maps as you want per person. Thanks for watching.
It's Go7, king of the penguins. Of all the penguins, he is king. It's Go7, king of the penguins. Being king of the penguins.